Hey everyone, welcome back to Bobini Creates. My name is Jeannie, and I'm here to do a follow-up video, and this was a requested video. Thank you, Colored by Maya. She requested that when I kind of figured out if I liked the disc-bound system or if I didn't like it, that I would kind of do a little review and an update on how I felt about it. So just to take you back 2 months ago, I had put up a video called DIY disc-bound coloring books. So what happened is I had quite a few books that were falling apart. You know, the pages were just kind of loose, and I wanted a nice way of binding those. So I thought of different things that I could do, like spiral bound and whatnot, but I did my research and I decided that I wanted to do the disc bound system, which some of you may be familiar with. Happy Planner. It's really their system. So it has worked wonderfully, and I found that there's easier ways to do things that I didn't know then. And I wanted to just share some of that and the things that I've learned. So basically, in that first video, I, tore the pages out and, or cut them out. And then I used my Happy Planner punch to punch these, and let me just show you what they look like, these little mushroom punches, so that they fit into the disc system like that. See? And so that's basically what it is. So you'll need the hole punch and a way of cutting your paper. So you can either rip the pages out, and then you can take a paper cutter and trim the edges. You can use a heat gun to soften the spine. And I learned that idea from Corey from Colorfully Optimistic. I always have trouble saying that, Corey. Sorry about that. But anyway, that softens your spine and makes it easier to remove the cover. But the best way that I found to cut your pages down, and this was a suggestion from J.I. Colorist Jody, what she does is she takes her books to her local office shop, and they have a guillotine that just basically cuts off the spine. The brilliant thing about that I learned when I went in is that you can grab a whole stack of books, like say all of Johanna Basford's books that you have, as long as they're the same size, that's considered just one cut. And one cut is only $3. So you can see that's super inexpensive. The other reason that I like to have them cut the spines for me is it preserves more of the spine. If I'm having to rip it off, I do lose a little bit of the edge in most cases. So they can get right up to the edge, like there's basically nothing missing of your book, So that's nice because you want to preserve, as much of your page as you can. So that's what I've learned about the cutting part of it. Now, what I've learned about the discs is initially I had showed, when I made that video, I was using the classic size disc, and what I found is on every coloring book that I've bound so far, you only need the mini, and I've bound quite a lot of coloring books so far. So just to kind of show you, Happy Planner has the expander, it has the classic size, and it has the mini. So it's the minis that you're going to want. Happy Planner, they're wonderful. They're a super, it's their brand basically. As far as I know, they're the major disc bound system out there. I think Tool is another one, but anyway, their discs are really nice and soft. There's no rough edges or anything. But they're kind of expensive. So if you're going to buy those, make sure you're using your coupon or whatnot. What I have done, and, this may or may not be a good idea for you, I bought mine on Amazon, and I have not had any problems with mine. I know, like Jody had said that she doesn't like the way they flip. She feels like they catch on the pages. Maybe it's just the brand that I found online, but I'm not having any problems with them. They're working beautifully, and I love all the different colors. This was a 160 set, and it was only $13, and I just think that's a steal. And for me, I do need to go with the cheaper options on things, so I think those work great. So I went with that. Oh, that brings me to another thing about price. I use the Happy Planner disc punch. You can use a coupon and get it for 40% off, or when it's on sale. I know there are better punches out there. Jody has an awesome one. Again, J.I. Colorist. She has an amazing channel, by the way, so be sure to check her out. She uses a heavy duty punch. That was not something in my price range, so I chose not to do that. And my punch has worked really well, and I've done a ton of coloring books, punch them. And that's, this is even a thicker cardstock, and it's still punching through nicely, at least so far. I haven't had any problems. Okay, so we've talked about cutting, we've talked about discs. Oh, the other thing I'll say about the discs that I think is cool is that you can match them to your coloring books, and I just sort of love that, Isn't this just so fun? Maybe I'm just a kid at heart, but I think that's fun. So, or if you wanted just to do, clear or metallic or something, you certainly could do that. So that's another option for you. Let's see, what else was I going to mention? So the other thing I love about these disc-bound books, aside from just being able to, put together a book that was falling apart, it has a lot of other benefits. So one of those benefits that I just really love is that I can fold this puppy over on itself. So I just really like that. So I'll do like this, and it makes my book, half the size. And I just think that's super convenient, especially if I'm sitting in front of the TV and I'm using one of those little lap boards, and I just have this set in my lap. It's just so much more convenient, so much more manageable just to work with this, one piece rather than, the double, the book opened up. I like that I'm not having to fight the spine, both to lay flat as one issue, and also to be able to get into the corners of the coloring book. I can easily do that. If I need to, I can, rip these out and just lay this page flat. The fact that I can either leave it flat like this or take it out of the book and lay the actual page flat is super convenient for photographing. It's convenient for filming videos. I'm not fighting the spine. I just think that's amazing. And I find that I'm leaning into a lot of my larger coloring books more because this is just so easy for me to maneuver. Now, if you were concerned about the backside, coloring page like this getting, dirty or roughed up or whatever while it's folded over, what you could do is you could just take a test page from the back of your book, and you could just put it underneath and clip it in place, with the little discs, and boom, you're ready to go. You're keeping that bottom page clean. So that's another nice thing. If you take your pages out of the book like this, and you wanted to use something messy, like paint or soft pastels or anything like that, the really nice thing about that is you can get all the way to the edges and not have to worry about it, seeping over the edges and damaging an adjacent page. And I think that's really handy. So I like that. Let's see what else. Those disc system, the disc system is, excuse me, is also really nice for using, since you already have the punch and the discs, you can make things like this. And this is just my swatch chart. So what I do is I, just print out and I swatch up my different pages, and I assemble a book together. You can see, pencils, markers, and I can arrange this and I can rearrange this, play with it however it needs to be adjusted. And it's just a really useful tool. The other thing I've done with this is I have, and pardon the glare for a second, but I had just a remnant of a scrap of plastic, and I punched it and I made a cover out of it. Now just know that if you do that, it's not going to tolerate heavy plastic, so just keep that in mind. It's just going to be useful for soft plastic. I also like to use my disc bound system for my coloring journal. So you can, I know a lot of us keep a coloring journal, so you have the flexibility to arrange this or rearrange it however you want. You can use any paper that you want to and just punch it out and use any rings you want to and create your own book. You just need to make a little cover and you're good to go. So that's nice as well. So definitely good for all sorts of organizing, and I'm an organizer, so I really appreciate that. Okay, and then lastly, I wanted to show you kind of what it looks like when they cut the pages. I mean, they're just perfect, and they can cut that big stack in just a second, and so I believe that's the way to go. When you go to hole punch, just make sure that you're being super mindful of the direction of your pages, you know, and not getting confused on that. I mean, that's common sense, but believe me, I did that wrong one time. I was watching a video, actually a live stream, and I punched it the wrong way, and so, you know, it happens. I made it work and it was fine. It was just that page was sideways, and some pages are sideways, so I wasn't upset about it. But anyway, just be mindful that you're not multitasking too much when you're assembling your book, just, and you also make sure that your pages are in order, if that's important to you, so that you're not punching the wrong side. Are you following me? You're punching what's supposed to be the inside. That way your images match up. And that's about all I think I have for you today. If you have any questions on this, by all means, please feel free to leave me a comment and I'll do my best to help out. I'd also encourage you to check out J.I. Colorist, Jody. She did an amazing job with her video, and like I said, that's kind of where I learned from. So please check her channel out, and thank you so much for watching. And I hope this is something that intrigues you and interests you. And I've never looked back. I have to say, I thought I'd be a little bit, regretful of having, sort of taken about this project, and oh dear, my coloring book is taken apart, I've got holes in it. No, I've never looked back. This, for me anyway, is the way to go, and I absolutely love the convenience and flexibility that it provides. So hopefully this will be useful, and I will talk to you on the next video. Bye everybody.